Meghan Markle doubling down in her battle against nasty tabloid rumors. Her lawyers filing new legal documents accusing the Mail on Sunday and its parent company, Associated Newspapers, of printing untrue stories in an attempt to portray the Duchess negatively. Markle first sued the tabloid last month, the same day her husband, Prince Harry, issued a scathing statement accusing the British tabloid press of waging a ruthless campaign against his wife. Harry comparing it to the way the media once bullied his mother, Lady Diana, saying in part, "I lost my mother and now I watch my wife falling victim to the same powerful forces." Meghan opening up last month in the documentary Harry and Meghan, An African Journey, talking about the toll the negative media attention has taken on her life.
I never thought that this would be easy, but I thought it would be fair.
The new legal filings point to specific stories Markle says are not true. They include claims made by the tabloid that Harry and Meghan spent more than $500,000 to soundproof their family home, Frogmore Cottage, to block out noise from airplanes. The documents also say the tabloid falsely reported the couple shelled out big bucks to build a yoga studio, a tennis court, purchase a pricey copper bathtub, and build a guest wing for Meghan's mother. In another story, the Daily Mail reported Meghan did not invite her mom to her baby shower in New York City, her legal team calling that untrue and offensive. The legal documents also taking aim at the Mail's printing of portions of a handwritten letter from Meghan to her estranged father, which the Duchess says was selectively edited. Her legal team writing, the omitted parts demonstrate the claimant's care for her father and others, as well as her concern about the UK tabloid media exploiting her father. A spokesman for the Mail telling the BBC it will defend the case with vigor, adding there is nothing in this document which changes that position. Meghan doing her best to stay positive despite the intense scrutiny.
It's not enough to just survive something, right? Like, that's not the point of life. You've got to thrive, you've got to feel happy, and I think I really tried to adopt this British sensibility of a stiff upper lip.